Disclaimer: the following program is designed to offend, provoke, and challenge your religious sensibilities. It contains content that will likely offend anyone who holds religion sacred. This is for those with thick skin or a taste for the harsh truth. If you're easily offended or cherish your religious views, please turn off now. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. You have been warned. Welcome back to Versatroll, the only Bible show that celebrates Easter by resurrecting someone actually worth listening to, a dead French philosopher with zero tolerance for miracle claims, and even less for priestly propaganda. Today's guest of honor, Voltaire, aka François-Marie Arouet, who ditched his birth name and rebranded as Voltaire, most likely an anagram of Arouet le Jeune, using those 18th century spelling quirks where U equals V and I equals J. It wasn't mystical, just petty genius. If he were alive today, he'd be banned from X in 5 minutes for hate speech against sacred cows. So if you came here hoping for a warm resurrection message and a chocolate bunny, you're in the wrong liturgy. Because this Easter, Voltaire's coming for your resurrection myth with a quill and a grudge. Voltaire was born in 1694, and by 1717 he was already in the Bastille for mocking the French regent. In 1726, back again, this time for insulting an aristocrat. That got him exiled to England, where he read Newton, mocked Anglican theology, and sharpened every Enlightenment blade in his arsenal. His motto? Écrasez l'infâme, crush the infamy, and infamy meant any pulpit trying to shackle reason. So no, he wasn't dyeing eggs. He was busy dissecting your theology with surgical ridicule. Easter hinges on one claim. Jesus was executed, buried, and 3 days later walked out like it was a weekend spa retreat. Voltaire's take? Je tiens comme vous la résurrection pour une chose extraordinaire. I agree with you that resurrection is a very extraordinary thing. Basically, he was saying, good luck selling that, and no, he never actually said, resurrection is contrary to all experience. That tweetable line didn't exist until the 1800s. So if you're quoting it, you're quoting Victorian translation that just pretty much summarized what he said. His actual critique? A historical takedown. He starts with Egypt. Pyramids built to house corpses waiting for reanimation, except they scooped out the brain first. So what's coming back? A divine husk? They thought the soul lived in the chest because emotions hit your heart. That was the science. Feelings equals anatomy. Then it's off to Greece. Harris comes back for 15 days. Aesculapius revives Hippolytus. Hercules saves Alceste. Pelops cooked, eaten, resurrected, minus the shoulder. Ceres munched on like an ancient grocery store sample. This wasn't new. Christianity didn't innovate. It recycled. St. Paul, according to Acts 23 and Voltaire's commentary, he doesn't just preach resurrection, he uses it. He's on trial for bringing Gentiles into the temple, but when he realizes the crowd is split, he suddenly shouts, "I'm being judged for believing in the resurrection." Voltaire flat out says this had nothing to do with the actual charge. It was just a tactic to make the Pharisees and Sadducees fight each other instead. That's not evangelism. That's courtroom chaos, and Paul played it like a pro. Resurrection isn't just bad theology, it's bad biology. Voltaire runs the numbers and it turns into a cannibal buffet. Here's the problem. Matter recycles. Cain eats Adam, Enoch eats Cain. You're made of recycled ancestors. So who gets which atoms? Voltaire's example, a starving French soldier in Canada eats an Iroquois who had been eating Jesuits. So the Frenchman is now part priest, part warrior, part baguette. Who gets the spleen? And what about stillborns? Do they rise as fetuses, adults, floating question marks? Voltaire drops the memory bomb. If identity depends on memory and you come back with none, are you even you? Also, Earth doesn't have enough biomass to regrow everyone. Voltaire did the math. You can't make 1 billion sandwiches from 1 loaf of bread. Then it gets funnier. Dom Calmet, a respected theologian, argued that vampires proved resurrection. Why? If they suck blood, they must be alive. That was printed in Real Theology. And the ridiculousness keep coming. The Talmud says the dead will tunnel underground to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Resurrection as moles, I guess. Paul says it kicks off at the sound of a trumpet. Voltaire asks, how many? Thunder barely travels a few miles, so is heaven passing out megaphones. Even Cleopatra got in on the mess. She asked a Pharisee if we rise naked. He said no, because wheat grows back clothed. That was his theology, agricultural modesty. A link, the full translation I'm using down below in the description also, because a lot of these go back and forth, but it's worth reading. Voltaire is super interesting. I really only focused on the resurrection chapter. Voltaire's final checklist of resurrection ridiculous included, which body version gets resurrected? The 20-year-old athlete you used to be, or the 70-year-old knee replacement? Do babies stay babies? Do fetuses arrive half-baked? No memory equals no identity. You're just a rebooted meat puppet. Earth's biomass can't support total resurrection. There's not enough matter left, and molecule sharing makes the whole thing a jigsaw puzzle. Worst of all, most people don't even make it. Voltaire guessed maybe 1 in 100,000 makes it to heaven, so this isn't resurrection, it's divine preheating for hell. And if the theology isn't insulting enough, the story itself can't keep its lies straight. John 21, Mary comes alone but says, we don't know. Mark 16:1, she's with 2 other women. Matthew, 1 angel. Luke 2, Matthew says, go to Galilee. Luke says, stay in Jerusalem. This isn't divine testimony, it's resurrection by committee. Voltaire saw right through it. Same recycled death denial myth just now with Roman branding. Voltaire didn't just mock the claims, he torched the authors. This senseless Jew attributes these atrocious reveries to Moses. That fatality has handed down this contemptible production to us. He's not bashing the Jewish people, he's dragging the priestly elites who weaponized religion, the guys who turned Yahweh into a celestial warlord with an eviction notice. Voltaire's core warning, those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. That's the whole Easter package. A sacred event no one saw, a doctrine that makes no sense, a faith system that demands submission or eternal fire. Happy Easter. Voltaire's body, still dead. His logic, still sharper than a Roman spear. Like, comment, subscribe, or Voltaire will haunt your sermon notes and ask if your soul lives in your lungs or your kneecaps.